It is Last Call Sunday. We are ready to take on week 8 of the NFL. I'm the prep queen, Ariel Epstein. Loaded show as always. Today we're going to be joined first by Gianni the Greek, live from Las Vegas. And also in Las Vegas, Mr. John Murray from over at the Superbook at the Westgate, going to give us a look behind the counter. And lastly, from Picks and Parlays, we're going to be joined by David Delano to talk some NFL best bets. Today we've got a shorter slate of games because there are a bunch of teams on a bye right now in the NFL going into week 8. Just to name the teams that are on a bye in case you guys aren't aware: Detroit, Vegas, the Rams, Arizona, Seattle, and Jacksonville all on a bye. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 1 o'clock games, 3 4 p.m. Eastern time games, then Green Bay, Pittsburgh tonight, and Washington, Kansas City tomorrow. A lot of injuries, too. Of course, there's the investigation now going into my Ravens because of the handling of Lamar Jackson. Forget even the gambling implications because now there are people sitting on -6.5, -7, which sucks. I was the idiot who decided on my fantasy team that because Lamar practiced on a Wednesday, he was definitely going to play this week. So I benched Justin Herbert to play Lamar like a moron. And here we are. Now I had to pick up Kirk Cousins and hope that he is going to play today, which it seems like Penix Jr. is going to be out today for the Atlanta Falcons too. And we already know for primetime tomorrow, Jaden Daniels is out for Washington. So a lot of different big names that are out today. And there's nobody better to help us take advantage of who the Sharps feel we could take advantage of than our good friend Gianni the Greek, joining us from Las Vegas. Gianni, happy Sunday.
All right. Busy day.
Oh, look at the Dodgers hat.
You know, I got Toronto for the series.
Ooh,
so I gotta have
okay. So a little reverse drinks there.
Well, I had Toronto in game 1. I bet them for the series because I thought the line was a little bit too high, and I liked them at home in game 1. So I said it's going to be a free series bet if they win game 1. I just bet game 1. They cashed for me at plus 150. Now we got a free roll on the series, and we'll approach game by game. Didn't touch game 2. We'll see game 3. So we're sitting pretty.
Any early action, by the way, for game 3?
Huh?
Any early action coming in for game 3?
No, I haven't seen anything. Nothing in any of the accounts, and the line's pretty much where it opened. We're sitting around minus 190. Even the total's 8.5 with the under shaded a little bit. So nothing yet from the Sharps. That game's tomorrow, so it's all about NFL today.
Absolutely. Let's dive into the NFL. There are so many quarterback injuries today that some were still unaware, like what's going to happen with the Atlanta Falcons. We also know that the line moved every which way against the Ravens and for the Ravens throughout the week because there was 4.5. Then Lamar's playing 6.5, 7, and then Lamar's out. So now it's down to 2.5. How are you seeing the Sharps approaching that game?
Well, I know there's a lot of sharp bettors with a Baltimore ticket in their pocket at a bad number. And that's just the price. It's the cost of doing business when you're sharp. You're going to try to get out ahead of the market, and sometimes it's going to bite you back, and that's going to happen. But as long as you're getting the best of it on 6 out of 10 bets, you're doing really well. And the guys I work with usually get the best of it 8 out of 10 bets at least. So sometimes that's going to happen, and there's not much you can do about it. But there is sharp money on Baltimore at a higher number. And then when they adjusted and it was down to 1, also saw some Baltimore -1 as well. So definitely Baltimore money from the sharp bettors, over as well. But they bet that over at a much higher number than it sits right now at 45. In fact, they were betting it over at 48. But then, like you said, after the quarterback situation, after the gambling implications, all that's going on in that game with Chicago and Baltimore, we've seen that line get adjustment. It's just an ugly game for the books. They're just hoping not to get middled, that the game doesn't land between 1 and 6 points, and that the total doesn't land right around 46, 47. As long as that doesn't happen, they should do okay. But it just puts them in a real tough position. And again, with injuries and quarterback position especially, that's going to happen.
Another quarterback game where we have some question marks, at least still. Michael Penix Jr. versus Kirk Cousins. It appears that Michael Penix Jr. is not really looking like he's going to play today. Yet that line, all I really saw it move was 7.5 to 7. How are you seeing that game against Miami?
Yeah, and that's huge because you're looking at a Michael Penix that's, above league average when it comes to passing success rate. And I always talk how correlated that is to winning NFL games. So based on the quarterback situation, that would have been a nice plus for Atlanta. But the question mark is the issue we're dealing with right now. Based on the betting line, I don't think it's a problem because I have seen the betting syndicates take the Atlanta side. Usually when it's an injury concern, they're out ahead of that information. So I probably would have seen the dog money come in and taken that key 7. That didn't happen. So I trust the market more than I trust, the journalists even and all the news coming out. For me, it's strictly what the market says. And with Atlanta sitting at 7, it looks like he's going to go. Like you said, the slight adjustment from 7.5 down to 7 isn't very telling, especially with a game that was getting kind of good two-way action. Like I said, the sharp bettors are on Atlanta. The recreational bettors haven't been betting that game heavily because of the question marks, but they are using Atlanta in teasers, which, anything that's around a -6 or 7, they're always going to tease it.
I heard you on Bet on It this week. You were talking about the Jets game, and friends don't let friends bet the Jets. However, the Jets are taking on the Cincinnati Bengals. That number went from 4.5 to 6.5, favoring Cincy at home. You said there is no reason in the world for the Cincinnati Bengals to be laying 6.5, even at home against the Jets.
No.
So are we letting friends bet the Jets?
Yeah, I took the 7 with the Jets, and I'm probably going to lay the 5.5 with Cincinnati for some of that, just because if you get a middle of the NFL and don't take it, you're a fool. Like if it's sitting there for you to take, you have to take it. It's the NFL. You have a plus EV bet. And when you have a middle, it's a mathematical certainty that one of those sides is plus EV. So one of those is the right side. Why guess if you have a middle, take advantage of it. But here's the bottom line with Cincinnati. Yes, they're 3-4 compared to the 0-7 Jets. But if you look at their point differential, they have a -78 point differential. Jets have a -54 point differential. So Cincinnati's won 3 more games, and yet they're at a 24 point differential compared to what the Jets have done. That tells me that Cincinnati's gotten really lucky. And when I look at their box scores, that's exactly what jumps out at me. They've won 3 games by a combined 7 points, or they could very easily be a 0-7 team as well. That's why they have no business laying 7 points. This isn't a bet on the Jets. It's a fade of Cincinnati that has no business being 7-point favorites over anyone. Again, they are in the bottom 6 or 7 teams power rating wise in the NFL. I get it. The Jets are at the bottom 2 or 3, but Cincinnati's not that much higher than them. So yeah, this is a phony Cincinnati team with the 32nd most efficient defense. You can't be given a touchdown when you're the 32nd best defense in the NFL. Backdoor is going to stay open. So I get it. Scary taking the Jets, but 5 of those losses have come by 1 score. If they could keep this game within 1 score, worst that happens is we push. I like the Jets.
I was looking at BetMGM's John Ewing, and he said for his NFL Week 8 bets at BetMGM, here are the most public sides of the day.
What do you say?
Bucks, Bills, Texans, Chiefs, Falcons, Colts, and Cowboys. Any of those stand out that maybe we fade the public on?
Well, Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay's getting a lot of public money. That's one of those that every book is heavy on Tampa Bay, but no surprise. The betting syndicates have been taking New Orleans every week. They're going to take them again this week. They think they're an undervalued team.
I keep losing on these Saints. It's
Exactly. Because on paper, some of these teams are better than they appear. Some are worse than they appear. But the problem with the NFL, Ariel, is we don't have a long term. We don't have a big enough sample size of games for some of this to come to fruition. In baseball, that happens. The cream always is going to rise to the top because you have 160 plus games for that to happen. In the NFL, that doesn't always happen. Some of these teams that are great on paper, it just never materializes on the field. And the opposite could be true also, where a team is just awful, but they're covering games. But on paper, they're bad. In a longer season, that would materialize, but in a short season, that's what we deal with when talking NFL. So I agree with that. Tampa Bay sticks out a lot. Buffalo sticks out a lot. Indianapolis sticks out a lot. They're not afraid of laying those points. They're laying all those points with Indianapolis, and they're already taking the Chiefs on Monday night. Like all parlays are tied into Chiefs money line Monday. Like they're not even laying the points. They're just adding an extra parlay team on Monday night, and that's the Chiefs on the money line.
Oof. Okay. Where do you see your sharp groups getting in on?
All right, here's some of the sharp action throughout the week that we had. Cincinnati early at 5.5, Jets at 7 or better. So there was two-way action there. Houston -1, 1.5, and money line. Chicago at +7 and the over in that game. Philadelphia at -7. They went over 42 at the opener, under 44 after the adjustment. Cleveland Browns +7.5. And then a couple totals for you. Over 40.5 New England Cleveland, over 49 Dallas Denver, over 43.5 Green Bay Pittsburgh, and then under in Minnesota Detroit. Those are some of the sharp sides and totals heading into this week of NFL. You're muted. Sorry.
Yes, my dog's eating a toy under me and it's very loud.
Okay.
But as long as she's quiet, otherwise and not barking and crying at me, then that's all that matters here on a Sunday. The Giants-Eagles game, a lot of people are talking about it in the chat. It's just the assumed public perception that because the Giants won game 1 at home, that the Eagles should come and smash them again in game 2. How much are we looking at that too publicly, or is that the truth?
Again, in divisional play, you do have to pay attention because these teams know each other so well. The game matters so much, and it's hard to quantify the first meeting. Usually, they're going to shade towards that bias a little bit. And let's not forget, the Giants were 7.5-point dogs at home. Okay, so they were playing the Eagles at home, and the line closed about 7.5. That was on October 9th. Giants won that game by 17 points. Outperformed the betting market. Eagles are now 7-point favorites at home. So it's as if there's no home field advantage at all, as if the Giants didn't have any home field advantage in that first game and the Eagles have 0 home field advantage in this game. I don't think that's the case. Again, the Eagles have played more road games than home games, but when you look at the Giants split, this really matters because this is a team that hasn't won a single game on the road yet. They're 0-4 on the road. They're 2-1 at home. That's a team with strong home field advantage. Now, historically, maybe the Giants don't have a strong home field advantage, but in 2025, they do, because that's the only thing that I look for when it comes to home field advantage. Do they play different at home than they do on the road? And for the Giants, that's actually the case in 2025. We have enough data right now. They played 4 road games. They haven't won a single one. They played 3 home games. They've won 2 of 3. So this isn't a team I'm confident betting on the road. This isn't a team I'm confident where the line's not being adjusted for home field advantage. And more importantly, this is an Eagle team that is obviously motivated. They had lost back-to-back games. They lost to Denver. They lost to the Giants. So turning it back on against Minnesota, now they return home where they lost their last home game. Can't lose too many home games at home. Too many games at home in the NFL if you want to make the playoffs. So I like the Eagles there. I laid the points. I'll tell you now, I laid the touchdown with the Eagles at 7.5. I think they make a great teaser bet because I disagree with the over steam at 42. I like the under. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I don't think the Giants are going to put up the 34 points that they put up in that first meeting. I think they'll be lucky to score more than 14 against this Eagle defense. I know they haven't looked that great, but this is a much different offense that they're going up against. So I like the Eagles there, and I like the under as well.
The chat talking a lot about the Patriots game as well. The Patriots at home against the Browns. They're laying 7. The chat also wants to know not only about that game, but also if it's a good survivor play to take New England.
Ooh, to take New England in survivor? I have that game power rated much closer. I have New England actually winning that game by 3.5 points. Here's the problem when I look at New England. They've had a real weak strength of schedule. They had the 32nd toughest schedule in the NFL going into this week. So the easiest schedule in all the NFL. So don't be too excited about their results. Okay. They also have the 21st most efficient offense. It's not a lot of confidence if you're laying points with a New England team, especially a touchdown with a total of 40. I just don't see the value there. In taking New England. The plus side of New England is how good Maeve's playing. He's a top 5 quarterback in passing success rate, and that's a hard stat to fade in the NFL. But the spread's the great equalizer, and 7 points is a lot to be given. I like the dog here. I think it's a dogger pass situation. with Cleveland, who's coming off a nice win against Miami. I think Cleveland could keep this close. And again, New England's been playing above their capabilities, meaning they've outperformed the betting market. They've won 4 straight games. They've covered 4 straight games. They've really outperformed. Like, their point differential in that ATS cover is so great that you're going to see an adjustment. And that's what we're looking at here. This line shouldn't be more than 4. It's 7. You're getting extra points. Doesn't mean you're going to win, but you're placing a good bet with Cleveland, I think.
San Francisco, it just feels like every week we're waiting for the injuries to catch up to them. And every week San Francisco proves that they shouldn't be as big of dogs as they were. Now they're 2.5-point dogs in Houston. Steam's on Houston. How come the steam's on Houston?
Yeah, especially with, it doesn't matter who they have at quarterback in San Francisco. Their passing success rate is above NFL average. So somehow they're continuing to win games, even with all those injuries. But the Sharps are going to do what the Sharps do, and they fade injuries more than anything else. That's why a lot of the biggest moves in the NFL, you see after the injury report comes out, even on totals as well. And that's why they're on Houston. You got a lot of sharp money on Houston, a lot of sharp money on Houston money line, expecting them to win this game. I haven't bet it. I lean Houston myself. I just worry when everybody is on the same team and the line's not 3. That's the problem. See, yesterday I had my big play on Missouri, and it was the same situation. I needed to see 2.5. Early in the week, I was getting 2.5. I was getting the respect I needed. But when I saw that 3 on game day, I didn't feel as good compared to 2 days prior, where Iowa did the right thing, which was going to be the 5%. They moved the way they were supposed to. They got the respect they were supposed to. Here, I'm not seeing it with Houston. If you don't see Houston get to -3, that's a problem. With all the money that's coming in on Houston, that's a problem. For the books not to want to limit some of that risk, and again, every book's going to tell you they need something different. It depends on who they're booking. But big picture, rest assured, the public money's heavy on Houston in this game. They're fading San Francisco on the road, and the Sharps are on Houston as well. But with this line not at 3, it worries me. Again, we haven't seen any 3s, Ariel. Like, usually I'll look and see, did one sharp book go to 3 and did it get picked off? Nope. They are booking this one at 2.5. So for me, that's a telling sign. It's a pass if it don't get to 3. I know that sounds counterproductive. Like, why would you want to lay 3 if you could lay 2.5? But the market needs to tell me some things, needs to confirm some things, and it's just not doing that.
How about for the Dallas-Denver game, which it was 3, and now it's moved Denver -3.5. How does that 3 look for you?
Yeah, and a little bit surprising when you consider Dallas is getting more of the public money, but it was the Denver -3 sharp action that came in. Sharps laid the 3. I know a group that laid -3 on Denver. That's why you're looking at this line right now. But more than enough public money offsetting that, with Dallas coming in off a nice win where they won by 20+ points. And even though Denver has won 4 straight, they're not covering games. Like, they were a favorite last week. They got the win, didn't cover. The week before that, got the win, didn't cover. So they're winning by very small margins. I'll just look. Their last 3 wins come by a combined, 7 points. 3 wins by 7 points. So I don't think there's a lot of confidence in Denver being able to win by margin. And when you're laying 3.5, that's what you got to do. You got to win by a touchdown, right? And that's why you're getting the Dallas money. I disagree. I agree with the Sharps that laid the 3 with Denver. I think Denver's the better team. I think strength of schedule has a lot to do with their records up until right now. So for me, I like Denver. I think anything at 3, you can get this down to 3. I think that's the side.
One more game, then I got to get to John Murray. Sunday Night Football, Green Bay and Pittsburgh. This one is really close, 50-50. Like, Green Bay -3, Pittsburgh catching 3 at home. I know you spoke about this on Bet on It. Yep. What do you think of Sunday Night Football?
Well, the total's getting
revenge
away
game nonetheless, too, like we see here with Aaron Rodgers.
Yep, and the total's gotten away from us. It got steamed up after it got dummied down a 0.5 point. Opened 44.5, got down to 44, and since then it's been boom, over. So public and Sharps are both on the over. Interesting to see. Will we see some take back if this total keeps climbing? The side, you're going to get good two-way action because I heard sharp money on both. I've seen Sharps that I respect taking the 3 points with the Steelers. and I see sharps that I respect laying the points with Green Bay. Here's the key. Green Bay's had the much tougher strength of schedule. Pittsburgh had an easy strength of schedule. 26th toughest in the NFL right now. Pittsburgh's only has a plus 10 point differential. So they've won 4 games with a very small point differential, which tells me they've been getting lucky. The ball's been bouncing their way. Flip side of that, you have a Green Bay team that's top 10 in both offense and defense. 7th most efficient offense, 5th most efficient. Hard to fade a team like that, even on the road, even on prime time in Pittsburgh with a lot of motivation against this ex team. I think that's the narrative that's given us a little more value than we should on Green Bay. I haven't bet it. I'm leaning the Green Bay way, looking for confirmation, but I'm that guy that I'll have my money on Pittsburgh if that's what I find out the better bet is. So there's still time between now and Sunday night. But when I taped the show on Wednesday, I was looking at the Green Bay side for those reasons, the strength of schedule and the more efficient offense and defense.
Hey, everybody loves to bet the revenge game. What are you doing today, Gianni? I know you've got Steam Room and then you are promoting something.
Yeah, I got my package up. I was going to fire 5% today, but I don't need to. The 4s have been doing so good. We're going to stick with that in the NFL, even though I think we're like 3-1 on 5% in the NFL. That package is up. So head on over to WagerTalk.com, jump on board for another good Sunday. And of course, the Steam Room goes off that final hour leading into kickoff. We'll go over every single game. I'll answer all your questions. We'll put together some premium teasers towards the end as well, and any live bets that come in. So join me. I'll be in there in about 35 minutes. Guys, have a good day. Whether you follow or fade, I really hope you do some damage. We're going to do ours, so you do yours, and best of luck. I'm going to hang on and listen to John Murray.
You got it. Thanks, Gianni.
Thank you.
Coming up now, as you heard Gianni just say, it is our great friend from over at the Westgate at the Superbook in Las Vegas, John Murray, joining the show. Happy Sunday, JM.
How you doing, kid?
Look at this. We already have demands from the chat. No one cares about you saying hello.
What did they say? I can't read. My eyes aren't that good.
When John Murray gets on, I demand to hear his needs.
Oh, boy. Well, I don't know why, they sound like your friend Kelly. They always want to know what we need. We lost like every NFL game last weekend, right?
I know. It was the worst we've had so far this year. It was great.
All right. So, hold on to your hat, kid. The biggest needs today.
Oh, boy.
We need the Cleveland Browns. What a shock.
Great start.
We've only needed them every week for the last 20 years. We definitely need the Browns. We need the Carolina Panthers. So that's an interesting game where we had sharp players laying Buffalo -7. And then, of course, the public is all on Buffalo teasers, Buffalo money line parlays, the whole lot there. I think we'll probably need Denver in the late game. Denver's hosting Dallas, Dallas a 3.5-point dog. I think we'll probably need the favorite there. And then the team we need every week, great team, very well coached, the Titans.
I was going to ask because I feel like that's one of the biggest spreads that we've seen so far this year. I mean, how much is too much to you at this point, John?
Well, we had a guy last night bet 52,000 on Colts money line to win like $3,700. Hey, I don't know. It works. Unless they're playing the Cardinals, the Titans have looked incredibly inept, and we'll need Tennessee here today in the afternoon. I'd say those are the biggest needs I see. Browns, I said Panthers,
Denver.
Those are the big ones. We actually have money on the Jets too, so we don't really need the Jets. The wise guys, they can't quit the Jets, Ariel. They can't quit them. They won't stop. They bet them every week.
He's so pissed. He said he's listening and he's waiting before he signs out to listen to what you say. Gianni, we were talking about those Jets, and I said, friends don't let friends bet the Jets. Johnny's like, I get it, but the groups keep betting them.
I used them last week in the NFL contests that I participate in, and I hated myself very early on. What's that?
Did everyone laugh at you?
Oh, people laugh at our picks every week. It doesn't bother me. That bothers Kelly. That doesn't bother me at all. I could care less.
What about totals?
Totals, it looks like we got a lot of money to the over in the Miami-Atlanta game. Sounds like Cousins is going to go for the Falcons in that game. We got a lot of money to the over in – this is not surprising. A lot of money to the over in Giants-Eagles. The Giants are a fun team. They're a trendy team. We've actually taken more money on the Giants than the Eagles right now, and we've taken a lot of money on over in that game. We actually are going to want the 49er Houston game to go over because we've taken a lot of money to the under. Total is 42. Houston getting a lot of sharp action.
49er Houston.
We need it over. We've taken money to the under. So we'll be rooting for it to go over the total of 42. And Houston is a sharp side here, at least at the Westgate Superbook. Seeing a bunch of sharp groups on the Texans.
Ooh, okay.
CJ Stroud's struggling this year, kid.
I know, and the steam's on him. -1.5 to -2.5 this week on those Texans. And
I know.
I think people keep trying to believe in them. People still want, they think CJ Stroud has to turn it around. And we keep trying to fade San Francisco with all these injuries, and they keep proving us otherwise.
Yeah, you got to give a lot of credit to Robert Salah and the 49ers defense. I mean, I think the Jets right now look ridiculous for firing him, acting like he was the problem. He was not the problem. And he's done a terrific problem. Well, the Jets are the problem. I agree. But he's done a terrific job there in San Francisco with that defense. Now they don't have Bosa. Now they don't have Warner. And they still are playing at a very high level. So he was not the problem, man. Sometimes these teams cut out their coach, act like that's going to fix everything. Like I've heard people speculating that the Cleveland Browns are going to fire Stefanski. Well, Stefanski is not the problem in Cleveland, folks. There's a lot of other problems. It's not him.
Well, that's the point. Everything. We keep firing coaches from these bad organizations without realizing, maybe it's just the bad organization.
It is the bad organization.
So you guys need the under in Miami, Atlanta, the under in Giants and Eagles, the over in Niners and Houston. Those are the totals you need.
Let me give you one more. We'll want the under in the Dallas-Denver game. That's the big afternoon game. We've definitely taken a lot of money on over in that game. Over that total's gone up a lot. Over 48.5, over 49, over 51. Right now we're at 51.5 in that game. Denver scored 0 points for the first 3 quarters last week, and then they managed to score 33 points in the fourth quarter to beat the Giants last Sunday. That was a crazy game.
Well, we're going to get a little bit from the chat. It's interesting that Murray says they need the Broncos, but the Westgate still has it at 3 and the hook. What to glean? I don't know, glean from that? What would happen if it dropped to 3?
Why did that guy called me Murray? That's presumptuous, isn't it?
Maybe you guys are friends. You're on here every week.
Oh, okay. No, it's a good point. I mean, we could look if we were to go down to 3.5. Go down to 3. I'm sure we would see some Denver money. The guy's right. And that'll be a game that after we get through the 10 a.m. games, we're going to book it at -105 both ways. So we'll see a lot of action coming in over the last, 3.5 hours until kickoff. So we need them right now, but it's not a really big need, and it could change before kickoff. The games I know we're going to need for sure are the ones I mentioned, Cleveland and Carolina. We'll need those for sure.
Prime time tonight, we've got a nice revenge spot for Mr. Aaron Rodgers going up against his former team, the Green Bay Packers. We also have prime time with no Jaden Daniels tomorrow for Washington up against the Kansas City Chiefs. What about prime time games?
Yeah, there was short money early in the week on Green Bay -3, but the market has kind of rejected that wager. And we've seen money come back on Pittsburgh. We've got Pittsburgh juiced right now, +3, -118. Yesterday, we saw sharp money on the Commanders. I think that's their nickname this week. The Washington Commanders.
It changes every week. It's okay. You can name them what you want unless you want to be canceled.
Okay, I'll call them the Redskins. They took 12.5 yesterday. Washington getting their receivers back this week. McLaren and Deebo Samuel are going to play. No Jaden Daniels, obviously. But they did take 12.5. Our look-ahead number in that game was 5.5. That was before Washington's defense got embarrassed by Dallas. That was before Kansas City crushed the Raiders, and that was before Jaden Daniels got hurt for a second time. But that's a big jump. For the look-ahead number to be 5.5 to get as high as 12.5. Right now we're at 11.5. That's a big number. It's a big number.
Yeah, I love how Danny Eagle says, don't be afraid to take the dogs. This is the NFL, except last year when the dogs all sucked. But wait, we just got the news. Falcons without Drake London. He's officially inactive today. And based on this Ian Rappaport tweet, I guess we are officially deeming Michael Penix out.
Yeah, we're planning as if Cousins is going to start for Atlanta. I don't know. The last time I watched Cousins play, he looked terrible, but I haven't seen anything from Penix to make me
Or
think
Miami.
or Miami. Yeah, true. Miami's a mess on themselves, but I haven't really seen anything from Penix that makes me think he's an NFL player. So I don't know what a difference that makes when you go from Penix to Cousins. It's not exactly like going from Lamar Jackson to Snoop Huntley, Ariel. It's not like that. It's not
You
like
mean
that.
from a 4.5 to 7-point favorite to now 2.5
Yeah.
point favorite, like that kind of move? Yeah, insanity.
You know that I will say that I've seen a lot of quarterback injuries over the years. I've seen a lot of big line moves over the years. That was one of the more surprising ones I've seen
Me
because
too.
we had sharp groups that bet based on information, betting the Ravens -6.5 on Friday, and I took that to mean okay, Lamar Jackson's definitely playing. I was very surprised yesterday to see that.
Lamar never practices on Wednesdays. So the fact that he practiced on a Wednesday, you thought, oh, for sure he should be starting. And then he was in full practice. Then it turns out that they hid that he was actually practicing with the second strings, not with the ones.
Mm-hmm.
It's not good. They're investigating them.
And I did see your friend Kelly in Vegas she sent a video to one of the many group chats that I'm unfortunately in where Lamar was ordering food at like a food truck.
But then he tweeted out that like everyone's got to stop because people love to cause drama.
That was not this week.
He didn't confirm that, but he said that you have to stop following these people who are looking for drama.
Okay. Well, I'll just say he didn't look like a guy that was playing in the NFL this Sunday in that video. Can we say that? I mean, he didn't look like
Lamar's always high though.
I don't know if you can say that. I don't think you can say that. Go to the chat. Get us out of this conversation before we get in trouble.
That's fair. That's fair. The tight end week or weekend is upon us. People looking at National Tight End Day. I don't know. I know that they're asking for tight end props, but like, are you seeing a lot of extra action on tight ends this week in the prop market? Or is there anyone we should fade because of the public? Anyone you like?
Not really. I don't. What is that exactly? You know, you're a lot hipper than me. So like tight ends have their own week. Do the other positions get a week?
I feel like the other positions don't.
So that's very discriminatory. Is that what you're saying? Like, there's not like a national guards week? No.
I don't know if there's like a national kicker week.
To answer the question, I haven't seen anything out of the ordinary when it comes to tight end wagering. I don't, and I find it to be a little offensive that they get their own week and the other positions don't.
Maybe it's because the tight ends advocated for it and the others are too quiet. Like you have to demand what you want or else you won't get it.
Yeah. That makes sense.
We know the most obnoxious people in the room end up getting what they want.
I know that. I'm not going to name names, but I do know what you're talking about. I know I'm not naming anyone specific.
Like free drinks at the Westgate.
Free drinks at the Westgate for some loud people. Yes.
Which, by the way, surprise, surprise, there is a very good chance that Kelly and I will be attending March Madness this year.
Is that a fact?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that. Really?
We just decided yesterday, but it's mostly because Luke Combs is performing at Allegiant that weekend.
And you know who's going to be here that weekend? I just found this out yesterday. My mom. Well, I'll be here, of course, but my mom is going to be here.
For the first weekend of March Madness?
She's coming here the weekend before, like the Saturday before. She wants to go to some show at the Venetian. And if she hears that Kelly is going to be here for March Madness, I'm sure that she'll stay so that she can see Kelly.
Ooh,
yeah. She's a big fan.
That's tempting.
That's interesting. I did not know that. Mom's going to be very excited to hear this.
It's not set in stone yet, but we are going to infer and put in a request.
Oh, I can't wait. I can't wait to deny the request and then forward it to the marketing department for approval.
That's exactly how that works, Sean Murray.
Yes,
that is exactly how it works.
Of course.
I'm excited now, but we still have some time. I'm actually leaving for a vacation on Friday. So, because I live a very horrible life.
So what, are we doing the show a week from today, me and you?
I think you get to do it with Kelly.
Oh, boy.
Maybe. I don't know. I haven't confirmed who's filling in for me, but I hope it's her for your sake.
She's great. Kelly's a real peach. I'd love
Again with this, Ariel's Jeff Epstein's daughter, and she has links with Mossad. I would be nice if I was you, too. Yeah, wow. Sure. Be in my own island.
Wow.
I know.
Why
See
do
this
they?
every week.
Isn't Epstein like a fairly common last name? I don't
No one
I don't
talks
consider
about Theo.
right. I mean, it's not like Smith or Jones, but it's also not like a very uncommon last name. It's probably on par with Murray, which is like
Probably.
a relatively common last name.
Probably,
You know?
honestly.
Yeah. That sounds
Relatively
about right.
common.
Or Stewart. Stewart's a pretty common last name. You know?
Kelly's one of a kind.
Yes, she is. Yes, she
By
is.
the way, I bring up Theo Epstein real quick. Anything in the World Series you guys need?
Yeah, we need Toronto. We need Toronto to win the World Series. We do lose a little bit. Actually, honestly, our guys did a good job. They managed the futures really well this year. We are a small loser to the Dodgers, but if you're running a sports book in Nevada and you're a small loser on the Dodgers or the Lakers or the Vegas Golden Knights, you've probably done a pretty good job of managing your liabilities. We're a big winner to Toronto, small loser to the Dodgers. We want Toronto. It's hard to picture anybody beating the Dodgers in a 7-game series. Can I just say it? I mean, it's just hard to believe.
I didn't find it to be that crazy.
It's just tough to. The Dodgers starting pitching is so good. Yamamoto was
Their
so great last night.
Look at game 1.
Their bullpen does suck. And that's the key. You saw that in game 1. Get to that bullpen. Get the bullpen in the game, and you're very, very live.
Which is why Toronto can, because they don't strike out much, so they make a lot of contact.
That's true. But Yamamoto last night was nothing short of brilliant. Looking forward to game 3 tomorrow night at Dodger Stadium. Going to be awesome. Baseball is so great, man. Baseball
it is a great sport.
It's so
Paul
good.
Locks wants to know, outside of the Ariel versus Kelly boxing match, I would lose. I own that. I absolutely would lose that. I love her. She's insane. She would kill me. Paul Locks.
I think Kelly's too crazy for you. You know, you're like I think people should know, like, Ariel's actually like a really nice person. You know, Kelly's nuts. I mean, I love Kelly. Kelly is like
I would not fight her.
I think Kelly's like.
I would send her out to fight me. I mean,
I think she's one of the. Would you say this is fair? Kelly is one of the kindest friends that a person could ever have in their life.
One of the best friends anyone could have.
I agree.
Which is why I would send her to fight for me.
But she's crazy.
Yeah,
you would not want to.
They always say that you want. If we have like a civil war, I'm going to Kelly's house.
Yeah, that'd be a good place to go. I'm not going to go there because I'd get annoyed with her like very quickly, but that'd be a safe place to hide.
I wish that I could say on here what Kelly told me I'm only good for if there is a war, and it's not fighting.
I've unfortunately seen her say that before, and I'm not going to say it either because it's really inappropriate.
What you can say is, because in the chat they do want to know what your personal pick for the week is.
My personal pick? Let's see. I don't know. I'm in a number of football contests. You know that we're actually doing pretty well, to be honest with you. In a pick contest, we used Houston, we used Buffalo, we used, let's see, what else did we use? Houston, Buffalo are the only two I remember right now. We used those two. Okay. I think we might have used. Oh, yeah, we used the Bengals, but the line moved against us on that one. But I think that's just because I like Joe Flacco. I like Joe Flacco. I think he's
but he's only really good for the first 3 games he's with the team, and then they figure him out, and then he gets bad.
I'll say Houston. I did a show on Friday with our really good friend Stan Paniatovich, who I love. Mm-hmm. And my pick on his show was the Texans -1.5. Wow. And I used the Texans. I used Houston in the Circa. I'm in the Circa Millions contest.
Why are you trusting CJ Stroud when he hasn't proven to us to be trusted?
I just the way, I don't really have any opinions on these games. I just see the way, honestly, I don't. I just see the way the lines are moving and the way that the games are being bet. And then I use that as my plays. I just see like the way the market moves, and it's been good to me over the years. And just the way the market has moved on that game, I like Houston in the game. But last week, the way that the game was being bet and the way the market was moving, I thought Denver was a really good play. Just the way I saw the money coming in, I thought Denver was a great play, and they had 0 points at the end of the third quarter.
Wow, so Kelly beat me to it. She must be watching. She wrote in the group chat already all of the needs, and I was about to go write it.
Wow. Kelly just has nothing better to do on a Sunday, huh?
No, not in Florida. There's nothing to do there.
No, of course not. Very boring.
Yeah, no. Who wants to go to the beach in October? Nobody, right? Terrible. No. Okay, John Murray, thank you so much. I helped you. I mean, you overstayed your welcome, but for good reason.
Yep.
We appreciate you every week. And for anybody who missed it, Cleveland and the Panthers are the two biggest needs for sides for the Westgate Superbook this week.
Mm-hmm.
Denver and Tennessee also in that mix. Under Miami, Atlanta. Under Giants and Eagles. Over Niners, Houston. Under Dallas, Denver. And John Murray loves Houston this week.
And don't forget about the Blue Jays. You want to talk about what we need here at the Westgate? I know they don't play today.
I'm gonna go bet it.
I know they don't play today, but the Blue Jays are our big need right now. We want the Blue Jays to win the World Series for the first time in 32 years, probably before
their fans
Ariel was born.
So mean to me, by the way. So what? I'm a little annoyed that I'm gonna have to go bet the Jays.
Do you remember when you had me on your show in the summer and you asked me for a pick to win the American League and I said the Blue Jays? Oh, sure. Yeah. Oh, that happened, man.
Do you remember how I gave it out on MLB Network last year?
I do remember that. Yes, I do. I know that. You and I were ahead of the curve on the Toronto Blue Jays.
1 year behind, and yes. You were ahead of the curve on the right year. So that's why we have you on every week. John Murray, I'll miss you next week, but I'll be back in 2 weeks when I'm with Kelly on our vacation. So hopefully
have fun. Yeah. You guys be safe. Be safe. Have a good time. I'll talk to you later.
See you, JM. We've got one more guest to get to for their best bets, and I apologize that he has been waiting. I have not been able to speak to him yet, so I'm very excited to meet here on Last Call, here on WagerTalk. Let's get best bets of the day in the NFL from David Delano. Hi, David. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday, Ariel. I'm happy to be on here with you for the first time, and we never talked off air or met before, so
I texted Kelly. I said, oh my gosh, what should I know about David? So please tell the chat what they should know about you.
Well, hopefully I want them to know me by being good at picking football games. A little bit of a humble brag over there, coming up from picks and picks and parlays, winners and whiners. #1 in Major League Baseball since March 30th since 2022. So even though I'm new on here, no flash in the pan. Right now, a 21-10 run on my NFL plays. I'm an Ohio native, Bowling Green graduate. Hold against me. I'm a Browns fan that's in Texas now. So that's the short summary of me.
Well, let's talk about those Browns. The chat was talking about the Patriots-Browns game today. Is 7 too many to lay with New England against your Browns?
I don't think so. I actually do have one teaser here. I do actually have the Patriots teased them down to 1, but I like the Patriots though, even if you're playing it straight up, to lay the 7. People talk so much about the Browns, #1 defense and all of that, but you still have to score points. And this is a tough matchup for the Browns because if there's a weakness on New England, it's their pass defense, but they're outstanding against the run. So the Browns, they're going to need to, establish the run. I think they're going to have a hard time doing that. And sometimes Kevin Stefanski, he abandons that. And I think we've already seen, Dylan Gabriel throwing the ball just a little bit too much so far. The Patriots are not going to beat themselves the same way that the Dolphins did. And right now, when you look at completion percentage above expected, Dylan Gabriel right now, 3rd worst in the NFL. Drake May's #1. So at the end of the day, you still have to score points. I'm not sure where the points come from. This might be a game where the Browns stay around for a while, but I think that this is still going to be about at least probably a 10-point victory for the Patriots. So I think that New England is the right side in this one.
Another touchdown spread, Eagles-Giants. Giants just a couple weeks ago end up upsetting the Eagles as 7.5 point dogs. Yet the Eagles are home now, and they're still laying that same amount of 7.5. So the question in the chat was by Big Sis Lisa, do you think the Giants have a chance against the Eagles again?
I can't get on board with the Giants in this one. The young, team obviously over there with Jackson Dart. I'm not sure how they're going to bounce back from that fourth quarter debacle against the Broncos. It's kind of one of those things to wait and see. I think that if I was going to play this straight up, I didn't play the spread, but I would take the Eagles also having that revenge factor. A lot of people that I respect who are on the under in this game, but I do think that we're going to get some points and see the over. I mean, this offense is starting to gel, and I think that even the way that the Broncos took advantage of them, I think that the Eagles are going to see some things in this defense they could take advantage of. And with the Giants getting the upset last time, I don't think the Eagles are going to take their foot off the gas. And if it gets ugly, we'll probably even see some garbage time points. So I would lean on the Eagles for the side, and I actually like the over in this game.
What are some other sides that you're looking at today?
Other sides that I like today, I do like the Pittsburgh Steelers at the +3 overall. Mike Tomlin, obviously, you hear it talked about all the time how great he's been as an underdog, how great he's been as a home dog. And you can go back and say, well, that was a different team. They had Big Ben, but even, since Big Ben's left, this team's about 59% as a dog against the number. So they still get it done. And Green Bay, I've watched all of their, road games so far, lost to the Browns, the tie with the Cowboys, and even that game against Arizona, they got the win, but they didn't cover. So this is still a Packers team that's been letting teams hang around on the road if they get the win at all. And I know the Aaron Rodgers narrative is something that gets played up a lot, but getting that key number at 3 there, I can't pass on the Steelers. So I do like the Pittsburgh Steelers there at the 3. And to jump ahead, because I know there's so many different favorites there. I'm not going to be on here with you, obviously, tomorrow or on Monday. I do like the Washington Commanders as far as there's a lot of ugly dogs. That's the one that I can get behind. I think that with Marcus Mariota, still very, very competent backup. We've seen the Chiefs, just steamrolling teams lately. But I think that this is one of those games where we might see, even if they get up and win this game, Andy Reid get a little more conservative, take his foot off the gas. I mean, 12.5, 11.5. I know the line's moving, but getting more than 10.5 here with the Washington Commanders, that's probably the ugliest dog that I would say that I like. There's some other ones that the numbers may seem inviting, but like Tennessee Titans, things like that, I can't get involved with them. Those are people like them, but a team that's 4-20 on a 4-20 run against the spread. If I guess if you bet them every week, eventually you'll be right. But that's a side that's a game that I'm just going to stay away from.
Oof. I know that we also have certain sides that I've heard people like the Jets a little bit this week, but we always say friends can't let friends bet the Jets. A Cleveland side, Panthers side, those are a few sharper sides that I've seen. Do you like any of those dogs?
So the Jets
are not really a side for a teaser, so we can leave them out.
Yeah, the Jets are interesting, and I'm what you basically just said. I mean, just watching Justin Fields and watching this Jets team, it's hard to get behind them there. That's actually a game that I do like the over in, because as much as now with the 5.5, the Bengals are an interesting play. This is still a Cincinnati team. As bad as Justin Fields is, they've given up at least 27 points now in 6 straight games. Only exception was that, opening game against Cleveland where really they should have gave up more. So, Justin Fields, we've seen him be able to put some things together. As bad as it is of reading defenses, he can run. He may get benched. Bengals are still one of the worst defenses in the NFL.
I know. I just can't believe how much this number moved in favor of Cincinnati.
Yeah, so if there is a game, maybe a redemption game that Justin Fields can go maybe one more week to making people think he's an NFL
quarterback. It's got to be a QB change next week if he loses again.
I thought that we already were past that a couple weeks ago. So
it's the Jets.
I'm not sure what's going on. What do you like? Do you like the would you take the Jets in this one?
It would be Jets or pass for me. I'm not going to bet this game, but I do think it's Jets or pass just because I don't see any world that Cincinnati is worth 6.5 points at home or 5.5, whatever it's at now. Yeah. I kind of like the Panthers side that John Murray gave out earlier because they can run the football. And that's been the biggest struggle for Buffalo this season has been their run D, especially without their linebacker, Matt Milano. So if you could get Chuba Hubbard, who's now in his second week back since coming off injury, who also in games without Bryce Young last year went over like 70 rushing yards a game in all 3 of those games. If they can run the football and dominate time of possession, the Panthers could cover.
This one's really an interesting one. This is one personally. I'm not on the side. I'm not on the total. I don't have any teasers because it does look like Carolina should be the side. They're 5-1 in their last 6 games against the spread, 4 straight covers. Bills have really been struggling, but they do have that they are coming off of that bye, and I kind of feel like this could be the game that Buffalo comes out and really takes it to them. They had a couple of those games that they didn't cover recently. They still won by double digits because the Bills have been such a big favorite. So right now, I almost feel like this could be a spot where the Bills, we even saw Hard Knocks and things like that. I'm sure that they didn't have the best bye week. Carolina Panthers, one of those things, they might be the right side. You just never feel good about it.
No.
At the number, though, it's really tough. So I was leaning Buffalo, but not one that I really want to get involved in. So this
Speaking of big numbers, you've got the 14-point spread for the Tennessee Titans. At this point, is it too many points?
It's not too many. It's not too many points. I'm off of it just because you look at a game like this. I mean, we could have it could be 31-7 in the fourth quarter, and they could still, get a couple scores for a backdoor cover. But I still think that it's either, the Colts or pass. I don't want to go against we keep waiting for the regression from Indianapolis, which really hasn't happened. And as mentioned, I mean, a 4-20 run against the spread. I know that you can, the numbers are going to get bigger. Eventually it's going to happen, but I don't want to be that guy that, 10, 12 weeks in a row, take the Titans, eventually you're going to be right. I need to see something from them. I can't get behind the Titans. They're pretty much on the do not bet list for me all the way around.
I would say the only other game that I am going back and forth on is this Houston Texans San Francisco 49ers game. John Murray gave out Houston. The steam is on Houston, 1.5 to 2.5. Yeah, I feel every week I keep thinking it's time for the Niners to crash and burn with all the injuries and Mac Jones under center, no Fred Warner. Like, there's so many injuries to San Fran. And also, I'm pretty sure Ricky Pearsall is out, their wide receiver. Yet they keep proving us wrong every week. Thoughts on Houston and San Fran?
Yeah, so this one here is one I've gone back and forth with because I see the argument for Houston. I definitely do, but it's tough for me to get behind them. I was on Houston actually Monday Night Football against the Seahawks, which didn't pan out so well. Just the fact that, like you said, the 49ers, they played so well on the road. You keep waiting for them to crash and burn. And when you actually watch the Texans, it's so frustrating because they've been so strong defensively. They played so well in the turnover battle, but they just can't get protection for CJ Stroud. He doesn't really have anybody to throw the ball to. And so many times we've seen them line up, they need 2 yards, they need a yard, they need less than a yard, and they're just getting dominated up front. So I actually think for those teaser people out there, I think that this is a good one to jump on the 49ers at even the plus 8.5, getting through to 7. I think that that's a great number because even if the Texans pull this out, I don't see how they score enough to beat anybody by margin. If you're playing it straight up, I see the Houston side. I really do. But I'm leaning the 49ers a little bit. I just don't feel like Houston should be favored. I think with that 2.5, that the value is not really there for me.
Anything else you want to give out before we get you ready and locked and loaded for week 8 of the NFL?
Yeah, so I do like the over in the game between the Dolphins and the Falcons. I don't really, the Michael Penix, Kirk Cousins. It's going to be interesting to see what we see out of Kirk Cousins, but I'm not I think that he might play well. And even if he doesn't, they should be able to run the ball all over the Dolphins. Dolphins could be an intriguing dog. I'm just not sure if they quit, but they're playing indoors where they always play better. And even though, turnovers had a lot to do with it, that's still part of the game. The fact that the Browns scored 31 points last week, the Browns don't score 31 points on anybody, no matter where they do it. So I think that we're going to see some points in this game. This Dolphins team can't stop anybody. So I do like the over in that game. And also, oh man, I'm holding my nose a little bit, but I am on the Ravens at minus the 2.5. Even with Huntley playing, I know it gets some crazy. This one really threw me off too with why it was 6.5 for so long. Yeah, but I really think that this is just one of those off the bye, getting embarrassed, must win spot. Caleb Williams, I mean, we've seen some regression there. This is one of those games I'm going to trust John Harbaugh, trust them to run the ball against one of the worst defenses in the NFL. I mean, the Bears are second worst defense in the NFL when it comes to yards allowed per rush attempt. So I think that Huntley, I mean, this guy still, he's played a game every year.
He always covers, it seems. It feels, but usually he's a dog.
And usually, though, most of his experience, though, is with the Ravens. So if you're going to trust him.
I was always so upset that they let him go. I'm a Ravens fan, by the way. So I was always upset that Tyler Huntley was let go because he was such a great backup to Lamar. They play the same style. They were friends growing up. I mean, it's great, except he hasn't been with the team now in a couple of years. Well,
but he's still, like I say, got some some snaps in the preseason with the Browns. Saw some action last game. Now you've got this this bye week. How do you feel about the Ravens? Like you said, being a Ravens fan, I know with your team sometimes it can be hard to handicap it.
I have not cared in 3 weeks about the Ravens. I am going to stick to that until they prove otherwise. When somebody continues to prove you wrong and you are disappointed all the time, so you say until you decide to change, I'm giving up on you. But I'm never going to choose another team. I'm still going to watch the games. I have not put my jersey on or a sweatshirt on in 3 weeks.
Well, I know that's one thing that I guess we differ on, at least the fan side. But when like I mentioned, one thing people want to know about me, I try to keep it out of it. But being a Browns fan, if there's anybody that knows about living with disappointment.
Oh, absolutely. And the only thing is I complain because I love to complain. My dog's about to pop in, by the way. I complain because when you have such a talented team, I'm a Ravens and a Yankees fan because my mom's from New York, my dad's from Baltimore, and I grew up in the 90s, so it's pretty obvious. When you have teams with so much talent and it just seems you can't get the most out of said talent, that's sometimes more disappointing than knowing your organization's just a train wreck.
Yeah. I guess when you're right, when you have those, when you have those expectations, because now even for
when you have Aaron Judge and Lamar Jackson at the forefront of your teams and they always find a way to lose the big game, it's very frustrating.
I mean, it felt like this should be the year for Baltimore and it, the season started that way for that first half, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the first game of the year against Buffalo, they looked really good to the last 8 minutes. So it's been hard, but if they win today somehow, some way, they keep their season alive and don't manage to go 1-6. Lamar's hamstring must really be bad if they're willing to go 1-6. So that's the way I look at it.
Yeah, but I mean, that's why I do like.
And I still think that we are overreacting to the Bears. Like, I don't think the Bears are as good as their record has indicated.
I don't either, and I think that this is definitely one of those. I think that this is one of those letdown. I think this is one of those letdown spots. I like the the Ravens. I mean, I really do. I just trust in the coaching edge and that Bears defense. I think that this is the week they come down. The Bears got to be feeling good about themselves, and like you said, even for yourself, for Baltimore, for Ravens fans.
And they're on a short week too, which is why Lamar is out. They have to go to Miami they face Miami. Yeah, they're in Miami on Thursday night. So Lamar will play that game, most likely. That's essentially what the plan seems to be.
I mean, that shows right there the path for Baltimore to get back in this. Beat the Bears today. You got Miami. I mean, look at what's in front of you. The Bengals, the Browns, the Steelers. You can still win this division. I mean, it's still a path.
Yeah, well, for some reason they get hurt and the world's over, but the Chiefs get hurt, the Niners get hurt, the Vikings get hurt, and they're still in it. So it's fantastic to be a Ravens fan. Thank you so much, though, by the way. It was great to meet you. Tell everybody what you're promoting today and where they can find your stuff.
Yeah, so right now you can find my stuff. We're merging with a lot of site people may have realized, but I'm over on picksandparlays.net. You can find me, David Delano. Play more of these shows with you too. Like I said, right now on a 21-10 side run in the NFL. I'm still on the World Series, so I'm gonna have a Major League Baseball best bet over there. I handicap hockey, college football. Really, all of the major sports and college basketball is going to be coming up. So you can check all that stuff out over there on, picksandparlays.net.
David Delano, you are awesome. It was a pleasure having you on for the first time here on Last Call Sunday with me. I can't wait to do it again soon. I'm telling Kel, he has to come back. He's great. I really like having you on here. You gave great info. Chat loved you. So good luck today, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you. And one thing I may not ever say again, go Ravens today.
Oh, Jesus. So go Ravens. Oh, boy. Just what I need to hear. Thanks, David.
Thank you.
Oh, go Ravens. I got some props for today, and I've mentioned this earlier this week on the Prop Queen pod that one of my favorite props was the over 29.5 rushing yards for Jalen Hurts against the New York Football Giants. And that's because he went over this in back-to-back home games already against New York. He also is averaging 50.5 rushing yards a home game dating back to last year. Went over this number in 10 of 11 home games last season at home. So Jalen Hurts over his rushing yards prop at 29.5 intrigues me. Drake May under 30.5 rushing yards. This number went from 25.5 to 30.5, but 20.5 made sense. It was a really sharp number, but he's gone under 30.5 in 4 of the last 5 facing teams top 10 in rushing yards allowed to quarterbacks. We know that the Cleveland strength is that front 7 with Myles Garrett. They allow the least rushing yards per game to quarterbacks. The only quarterback that had a rushing yard prop over 10.5 against them was Lamar, and he went under 47.5 rushing yards with 13. All the other quarterbacks to face this Browns defense had a 10.5 rushing yard prop or lower, and the ones that went over it, like, that's pretty much why. It was because it was low. Dylan Gabriel under 2.5 rushing attempts for Cleveland. He's gone under this in 2 of 3 games this year, 2, 0, and 4 rush attempts. New England's allowed the 4th least rush attempts per game to quarterbacks. If I was to go with a longest reception prop in the 1 o'clock slate, it's Devontae Smith over 24.5 yards for his longest catch. Goddard and A.J. Brown had the 30-yard catches last game against New York. 3 of the last 5 home games Smith played in without Brown went over this. Smith had a catch for at least 36 yards at home against the Giants in 3 of the last 4 matchups. And the Giants are bottom 5 against wide receivers this year. So going to go with the over longest catch for Devontae Smith against those New York Football Giants. Steam Room's coming up now with Gianni the Greek. Make sure to tune in. I'm the Prop Queen, Ariel Epstein. Good luck with all of your bets today. We'll see you next week here on Last Call.